Okay, take it away, Christine, Lauren, Natalie, and Tanya on Project Serenity or Serenity Infant Homes.
Okay, I'm Lauren. We did our project on Serenity Infant Care Homes, and just a brief background of what it is. It's a foster agency that's nonprofit and private, and it was started in 1990 by 3 social workers who felt the need to open a facility because there was such a demand for foster homes. This is their mission. It's basically to provide quality foster homes for children who have been taken away from their families. One of their primary goals is to rehabilitate the family and to break the cycle of child abuse overall. And before this, basically the way it works is that they're the middlemen between DCFS and the children. So they don't actually do the investigation, DCFS does, and once the claim is validated, they call up Serenity, and since they are a foster facility, they have their own pool of foster families with their own requirements. And then after that, they start intervention once the child is in one of their foster families. And their main clients are obviously the foster parents and families and the children who have been taken away, and also pregnant teens or parenting teens who have already had their children. And the trends that they see for children, they see all ethnicities, but mainly Hispanic and African American children. They see Asian families the least, and Caucasian families are somewhere in the middle. All their ages range from 0 to 18, that's who they serve, but they mostly see the younger ones. They come from lower SES families. And for foster parents, they're usually middle-class families who have, the parents have attained at least a high school degree or better. And they provide a lot of services. They provide 3 specific services that are specifically to the facility, and one is the Therapeutic Learning Center, which is designed for the children 2 to 5 years old who have been taken away. And it's a program for them to express their anger, their hurt, to help them with their behavioral and emotional issues. It helps them prepare academically for kindergarten so that they're able to be caught up with the rest of the class. The second main one is CAMP, Serenity's Children as Mothers program, and this is for the teen parents. And they place teen parents who have already had their babies into foster homes together. Or also they place the children in foster homes, and they help build their skills as parents. And the main goal is to make the teen parents self-sufficient so that they could, kind of be on their own. And so they offer parenting classes, money management classes for them, support groups, medical care, therapy, counseling, and everything they need to just survive. Another program that I didn't list up here is a program for babies who have medical problems, who are like infants, and what they have is a pool of foster families who have been medically trained so that those babies don't have to stay in a hospital and that they could come home to the foster families. They have a ton of support services for foster families, like counseling, hotlines, recreation activities, just everything that they need. Like when we went in there was a support group for foster families, and they just get together, talk about their personal issues that they're having and laws and whatnot. In 2006, they were accredited as a licensed adoption facility as well. So they do, once the children can't go back, they are able to be adopted out through their own facility. So they have post-adoption treatment, they have therapy, and all of that. And other services include tutoring, counseling, and they do facilitate visitation for birth parents. And what they do, since they did say that child abuse is a cycle, they aim to break that cycle. And they do this but through facilitating visitation for the parents, supervised, of course, in one of their playrooms and other things. And they help the child to heal through all the services that they provide.
So when the children come in, she's telling us that a lot of the issues, like the mental health issues, PTSD, a lot of the children were probably, sexually abused. They witnessed domestic violence. So they have to some of them wake up with nightmares. So they have to help them deal through that. They're afraid to thrive. A lot of them, they have a low self-esteem. They're depressed due to maybe their family being broken up or they have to leave their home. And they're just sad because they're being separated from the family. They focus on helping the foster family with the child. They don't really focus on investigating the risks. They just focus on having the family, being qualified to have the kids be foster families. They also help the birth family by educating them on better ways to raise them. When the children are taken away, the parents can come over and they are able to see the children, and they can they're overviewed by the staff, and they can help them with ways to raise the children better. Some of the strengths in the children is that they adjust well to their foster families. They're resilient and they're really willing to try to make a better life even though they had a rough past maybe. And the progress in the children is seen very quickly. And one of the weaknesses is they're very emotional due to their past experiences. A lot of them have a lot of trauma that they still have to deal with. All the needs of the clients are similar, since they all come from the same backgrounds, abused parents, or usually the children are seen by doctors within the first week of arriving to the facility. But sometimes it's a little hard because a lot of them are small and they have to get records of when they got their shots. So it's kind of hard to keep up with those records. But they try to have them be seen by a doctor the first week, and they're also trying to be seen by a dentist within the first week. They have quarterly reports with each of the social workers that work with them. They have to give a report on the progress of the client. They say goals for each individual child that comes in. And they also have stages for children, like if they're going to school, what they should be learning.
So they collaborate with DCFS, the Department of Children and Family Services, with the Child Law Center. Every child is a lawyer. They work with therapists for the mental health programs, doctors, so that every child gets the adequate care that they need, teachers and counselors. For the qualifications, there's two different types of social workers. The first is adoption, and in order to work in adoptions, the worker has to have a master's in social work. For foster care, they need a master's in some type of related fields, like an example would be a marriage and family therapist. And they could be working towards the master's while working as for the foster care. For staff training, there's a lot of training hours required for the job, and they must go through the training that foster families go through. The staff turnovers. For foster care, there's not a lot of turnover. The staff can work both part-time and full-time, and there's a lot of flexibility, like they can work at home. The mental health portion was cut last year due to the cuts, so there was a high turnover, but that was because the employees were dismissed. And the foster care, it has been cut slightly, but it's still thriving because it's the biggest service that they provide. And for minority groups, a lot of the clients that they see speak Spanish, the parents, but the kids usually speak English, so they offer a lot of their information in Spanish, like a lot of the pamphlets that they pass out are in Spanish.
For safeguards, confidential files are always locked away in filing cabinets. and are never allowed to leave the office. Employees are never allowed to talk about clients' information to others outside of work, only staff. The foster parents and the agency are only entitled to the children's personal records according to what the county social worker releases, because they are the holders of information. Limitations to what the social worker discloses can be unfortunate, and the reason being is because when they are being transferred in from another foster care program or are being released, these information, or the information provided helps the counselors and everybody there provide services and just know their background information, and when those aren't released, it makes it really hard to work with a child. Societal values. To society, having a drug problem or being an abuser is shunned upon. Stigma follows those that have problems, legally, child abuser, drug abuser, domestic violence, etc. The challenge to return the children to their biological parents because of the values society holds strongly upon. But that's the goal. So she was letting us know how it's, you know, that is their goal for it, and they're happy for them to be released back to their biological parents, but it's harder for society to see it that way because they think, okay, you know, if they're drug abusers, or if they repeat these crimes, these children might be hurt again. So, but at the end, that's ultimately their goal. News media. The past was harmful and more useless. The present, more useful, and the last few years, media has carried a lot. The Department of Children and Family Services, which is DCFS, county workers, judges, and attorneys are now being held accountable. As we saw on the YouTube video that our professor showed us the other day, the state child welfare investigators are now really just being microscopic, which has happening in DCFS because they haven't been. And so these parents that have been accused wrongfully are now voicing and speaking up into the media, and people are now being aware of what's really been happening and going on. They're rewarding accomplishments, so the growth and learning new methods and different measures of how to approach the children. The knowledge is pretty much on children and the policies that need to be implemented to foster the children. Greater understanding of the children, just knowing them culturally and knowing them through personal experiences. Obviously the best reward is successful adoptions, because at the end of the day that's their goal. And also children returned to birth families or relatives, their reunification. Is there any questions? Okay, and